Hey, 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 happy Saturday, everybody. What's going on? It's masterclass time, y'all. It's time to get rocking and rolling. We got 5 minutes till we go. I'm sure our special guest is going to be here in just a minute or two, but take a minute here and send out some reminders in your team chats. Let everyone know that we are live, we are rocking and rolling, and this is the call to build and blow up. We're gonna have a lot of fun with this one. I am going to be interviewing my dad today. We're gonna go interview style. I've got some good questions for him, and I think that there's going to be a ton of value for you and your team. So make sure we load it up. It's good to see all of you on here. What's going on, Candy? Good to see you. Eric Jordan, what's up? Melissa Lucas, how are you? Peter Sterling, I think that man just lives in his car. He is always on the go somewhere. He is always, what's up, PJ? Good to see you, buddy. Miss you, man. Pia, what's going on? Melissa P's in the house. We got Carrie Boggs. What's up, sister? Good to see all of you. Hey, 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 hey. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes here. But make sure we load it up. Take a couple minutes. Let the chats know we are live. Make sure everyone is good. As always, let me know where you are watching from. Let me know where you're tuning in from. I'm out here on the East Coast in Pennsylvania. I see South Carolina's in the chat, Louisiana and Ohio. We're going to get a bunch of people. Seattle's in the house. Missouri's in the house. What's going on? Indiana, Washington, Tennessee. Good to see all of you. Good to see all of you. PA's in the house. Right on. Michigan's here. What's going on, Florida? Good to see you. Cali, Texas. Hey, 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 hey. Walla Walla. Walla Walla's in the house. Let's load this sucker up. We got about 2-3 minutes till we go live. Let's make sure the teams are in. Awesome. So yeah, like I said, I'm going to be doing a little interview here, and I've got some awesome questions for my father. And I want to just kind of give a little, preface. Some of you might not be very familiar. Some of you have heard his story. Some of you have heard his, oh, is he on? Where is he? He might be under I'll bet he's under Network Marketing Pro or something crazy like that. I gotta find him. Where are you? Are you iPhone 2 or something?
What the hell?
I don't know why. Oh, I'm under Marina's name. She must have logged in under my thing.
Oh, I'm like, wait a minute, where are you? Can't find you. Oh, and look, it's a cute picture of Marina too. Cute. Love it. All right, let's go to do speaker view and let me see if I can. Boom, we'll do this. All right, all right, all right. Let's have some fun. Lisa's in Maryland with the team. Hey, Washington, what's going on, Ginger? Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to see you. We got a lot of people plugging in here. We're going to get started in just a couple minutes, but let's load this baby up. Make sure we get everyone on here. Let's have some fun today. This call is going to be action-packed. We're going to go for probably just about an hour. I know it is late over in the Maldives for my father, and so I believe it's about 10 o'clock his time right now in the evening, and so we'll keep him as long as we can before he has to get back to whatever it is, either sleep or if he's got a event that he's got to get back to. I know he's breaking from a bunch of crazy stuff over on his end, but yeah, we're gonna have a great interview. And then make sure that all of you are on our Mindset Monday call. Two nights from now, Monday night will be 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central is our Mindset Monday call. You'll get a reminder text about that call. And if you want to keep up with us this month, we're reading The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And so make sure you grab that book. You can get it for free on Audible. Make sure you grab it if you're able to and start listening. We're going to go through the first couple chapters on Monday, and would love to have you there with us. We have a lot of fun. All right. My dad, are you there? Where did you go?
I'm right here.
Oh, there you go. Your camera was off for a minute.
Yep.
All righty. So how are you? How was your day? My father, you're over in the Maldives.
Oh, crazy. Like you said, it's 10 o'clock. So sorry for the super boring backdrop. You get to see my closet doors. I'm in the Maldives and you get to see closet doors.
It's real life. It's real
Sorry
life.
about that. It's just dark everywhere else. So I got a little bit of light here, and happy to break away. I've taken all the pictures I want to take for today. So this is actually nice to come hang out with you guys for a bit.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. And I appreciate you taking the time. And for those of you that weren't able to make it to convention, it was pretty awesome. JT worked with some of the other executives to surprise me and everybody else there with my father coming in, and he came into our party Friday night. We had some fun. And then Saturday, he actually took the stage and gave an amazing presentation. And so, you know, we're about a month out of convention now, and we're coming into those, you know, we just talked about it on What's Up Weekly. And Dad, I know you know this, these months can be one of two things in network marketing world. They can be the lull months where people kind of check out and check into holiday season, and, you know, you got all the stuff, or they can be the months where people, from what I've seen in my life, and I think you would agree, can have the biggest transformation in their business. The ones that really decide to plug in and set themselves up for the next year of success, that run into the next year at a full sprint. Those, I mean, that's where a lot of the magic is made, when a lot of the people are looking for what it is that we have to offer in this season. And so I wanted to start with just a couple questions for you.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know, my father is a best-selling author of a book called Go Pro, The 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional. I encourage, obviously, you know, shameless plug, that everyone should have that book on their bookshelf, and not just have it, but have it marked up to death. But in that book, I wanted to talk about a couple of things. We focus a lot on finding prospects. We talk a lot about mindset on our Monday call, and how to really be building relationships, how to be that person of value in your life and in around the people you come in contact with. But you talk about it in your book. I think the second chapter, or the second skill, I shouldn't say the second chapter, the second skill in your book is by far, I think, the deepest skill to really focus on. It's the one that you take the most time on in the book to really touch on. And that's finding out how to get people to take a look at or to understand your opportunity or your product. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's something that a lot of people, you know, that I've seen, I work with our field quite often. You also talk about, you know, the hunter mentality versus the farmer mentality. And I think that some of our people, I'm not speaking for them, but maybe you agree with this as you're listening. Some people get stuck in that hunter mentality if they don't have the skills necessary or the wherewithal necessary to step into the farmer mentality. And so would you maybe, as we get started here, just talk a little bit about, you know, your experience on utilizing the tools and kind of getting people, once you've built the relationships, it's always that big stopgap of how do I take it to the next level? How do I get them across the bridge? And I know that's something that people are, we did that conversation challenge you told me about. That was my father's idea, by the way. And we had over 10,000 conversations started in 24 hours in our organization, led to a bunch of people on this call that I see right now getting their first customer that they ever got, just by starting these conversations. And so we got a lot of great conversations going, but I think it's about just getting them over to that next hump.
Well, first of all, it's great to see everybody. I hope you're all well. I see your smiling faces from different parts of the world, or different parts of the country, at least. We've been all over the world. We were in Necker Island with Richard Branson last week, and we flew from there to Spain to Dubai to Maldives. And then we've been here for a week with a client, and then we're headed back Monday. But so it's been a whirlwind. A lot of crazy stuff going on. But the thing, when I first got involved in network marketing, I made this assumption that people would at least take a look. If I had something of value and I told them I had something of value, that they'd take a look. And I was completely wrong. Unless I had some skills, I was really awkward. And I felt like, I'm trying to get something from this person, and this is my friend, and how do I figure out how to have a normal conversation? So it was awkward for me at first. I really struggled, because all of us can talk to the people that look up to us. That's really easy. If somebody looks up to us, we can go, hey, I got something I want you to see. Just look at it. And if they look up to you, they'll look at it. But if they're a peer level person, if there's somebody that considers themselves a peer with you, now it's a different game. And if maybe you look up to somebody else, now it's a completely different game. How do you get them to take a look? So I was really awkward, because when I first started, I just went out and treated every single person the same. I talked to them all like I would talk to my friends. And as you can guess, I wasn't very successful. I got some to take a look, and the friends that I had at the time joined and quit right away. I talked to some of my dad's friends, because he was in my upline, and some of them signed up for a minute, and worked for a month or two. And then there I was, like, am I going to do this, or what am I going to do? So the first thing I did is I watched what other people did, and I kind of reverse engineered it, and I tried to do what they did. But for me, it's always easier for me to copy somebody else than it is for me to be myself in situations like this. So I copied other people, and I was going to talk to my friends or my peers, and they're like, who are you? What are you doing? Because I talked in a different voice, and I used different words than I would normally use. And they're like, what is going on? Why are you being weird? And then I came across a couple simple principles. Principle number one is I needed to not be the fact giver for almost everyone when it came to the product or the opportunity. I needed to not be the one giving those facts to somebody else. And that's what almost everybody in network marketing does. And if you've been frustrated because you've been out there trying to give the facts to as many people that will listen, you're going to struggle, because if they know you, they know you're not an expert. You're just trying to figure something out. You got a little side hustle or whatever, and you're trying to pretend that you're an expert, and you're not. So I learned the value of a third-party tool. And I had two different types of third-party tools at the time. Now, today's way different. Back at the time, there was these little live meetings that they would do a few times a week in my city, and like at hotels, which is like a Zoom call now. And then there was a videotape, which is like sending somebody a YouTube link or whatever. But it was physical. It was in-person type stuff. And I learned, my first lesson was, I learned to play myself down and play up to everybody's egos. That really worked for me. I would go to people and say, Candy, listen, you're really, really smart about this health stuff. You got this thing figured out way better than I do. I wonder if you do me a favor. I ran into something that I think is really powerful and really exciting and really interesting, but what do I know? I'm an amateur. You're way more knowledgeable about this stuff than I am. If I showed you a video that explained what I have, would you look at it and give me your thoughts, give me your opinion, give me your input, give me your wisdom, give me your guidance? And if I was respectful and nice to Candy, she's going to say, probably, sure. All right, send it over. And she's going to feel kind of respected because I went to her with, I wasn't arrogant. I went to her kind of humble. Same thing with opportunity. I learned that if you have to flatter people so over the top before anybody will object to it. Nobody objects to getting a compliment. Almost nobody gets a compliment on a regular basis. So if you call up a business person, you compliment them and say, I really respect you. Would you take a look at this business model? See if it makes sense from your point of view. I would really be grateful. I did that as a young man. And I was able to get past their initial defenses, right? So I used, there's 3 different approaches that you can use when you're trying to get people to take a look. You can use a direct approach. Hey, I got something, you need to take a look. You can really only use that with very, very close friends or people that look up to you, okay? Actually, there's 4 approaches. Let me give you the 4 approaches. Here's a quick little training, okay? You ready? Approach number 1 is for very close friends and family. This is what I would call your hot market. These people actually are the most painful for most of you. You get the most resistance, you get the most objections, you get the most eye rolls, you get the most, oh my God, you're not doing one of those things, are you? It's kind of painful. So what I've learned, a very, very effective approach, and some of you have been around for a while, so you need to think about this with the next person that joins your business, is number 1 with a hot market, disqualify them from the business in the first sentence of your conversation. Okay. So if I'm calling Vanessa, I say, hey, Vanessa, listen, I got involved in something, and don't worry, you're not a prospect. I'm not trying to recruit you. I don't want you to join my business. So disqualify them right away. You're not a prospect, just relax. This isn't a prospect pitch. I'm not trying to get you into my downline. I'm going to go do that with other people. Okay. So Vanessa's just like, okay, I don't have to go through this pitch. And then second thing is to let them know how much their support means to you. But Vanessa, listen, one thing I love about you and I appreciate about you is you've always had my back. You always want what's best for me. You always are looking out for me. I feel like you're in my corner, and that really matters. So compliment them on being a friend, being a family member, being in your hot market. And then third, ask them for their support. But let me tell you what would matter a lot for me. I'm just starting a business. And I have this product, your core product. How much does it cost for a month's supply?
If the dose do it, yeah, $100.
$100. Vanessa, let me tell you what would really matter to me. I'm just starting a business. Imagine I just started a restaurant and I invited you to come check out my restaurant. You'd probably get a meal, wouldn't you? At least one. And if it was good, maybe you come back. If it was excellent, maybe you'd tell your friends. And if it wasn't any good, you'd say, good luck, kid. And you've done your duty by coming to my grand opening of my restaurant, right? You probably do that. So here's what I would love, and I would really appreciate if you would do for me. Would you be my customer one time? just once, not forever, just once. It's $100. And you're going to get a 30-day supply. $94.50, Carrie tells me. You're going to get a 30-day supply. All I would ask, you be my customer once, because I've got some goals of how many customers I want to get. But the second, more important than that, I would really ask would you just use the product and give me a story? Give me some feedback on how it worked. Let me know. And if you tried it for that first month and it wasn't for you, I'm not going to bother you again. It's over. Okay. If you like it and you want to continue, you tell me. If you want to refer your friends, that's a different conversation, but that's not why I'm calling. Okay. Would you do that for me? Now, this hot market approach you use with your friends, your family, your parents, your kids, people who are really close to you. Some of you have been serial entrepreneurs trying to get things started, and they're like, what are you doing now? Right? Well, here's what I'm doing now. I need you to be a customer of mine one more time. $94.50. Will you do that for me?
Yeah,
And
that was one second. That was going to be a question I was going to ask you is, some of the people have been here, for instance, some people have been here for 3-4 years with this company, and maybe they've hit a lot of their hot market. What would be
they haven't hit them like this.
Yeah.
Go back to them and say, look, if you've made any of your hot market uncomfortable, and you almost always will, because you're going like a bull in a china shop and you don't know what to say and what to do, and they're kind of uncomfortable and they're giving you their objections, and you're saying, no, but you don't understand. And, they're saying, I don't like network marketing. And you're saying, no, let me tell you why it's great. And you have this little tension, right, within your hot market. So if you've done that, just add one more approach before those other three things. And that is apologize. Listen, when I got involved in this business, I was excited and I made assumptions, and you were one of the assumptions. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry I came on so strong. I'm sorry I was overbearing. I'm sorry I was, pulling you aside in church and talking to you about a product that I was in love with or whatever. I'm sorry if I overdid it. That wasn't my intention. But let me just right now take you joining my business off the table. Okay? Can we just go back to being friends? It would mean the world if you'd be my customer one time. That would really, really mean everything to me. And if you're not comfortable doing that, that's fine. But if you started a business, I just want you to know right now, right here and now, that I would be your customer at least one time. For sure. 100%. If you open a restaurant, I'd be there for the grand opening. So this is kind of logical, right? And it's normal. It's a normal conversation that you can have with a normal, real person.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it's like, all the stress goes out of the relation, the tension goes out of these different relationships, and Thanksgiving is normal now. And Christmas time is normal now. So that's the first thing. First thing is hot market. I highly, highly suggest sit down with the next brand new person that you have joined, and ask them to please do not talk to your hot market until I give you a little bit of instruction. And it's just 1, 2, 3. Disqualify, thank them for their support, and thank them for, being a friend, being supportive, and ask them for support by being a customer one time. 1 month, one time. Pretty easy ask. So that will get you most of the way when it comes to hot market. And you can go back and kind of, reinvigorate your hot market if maybe they've shut you down because you're trying to push them so hard. Some of you have been trying to recruit your spouse for forever. You know, maybe just get them to use the product for 30 days might be a good thing, you know. Second approach when it comes to inviting is direct. And this is what I use for everybody, one size fits all. And if you talk to enough people, it will win, it will work. But man, you got to have really, really thick skin. Hey, I got something for you. Hey, I got something for you. Have you heard the news? I got this incredible opportunity. I've got this unbelievable company that they're helping with this and they're doing that and they're helping with this. And you should take a look and you should take a look and you should take a look. It's this whole, when I thought about somebody who could crush this, I thought about you, you know? But these are people generally, you can only use this approach generally for people who look up to you, people who respect you. Okay. And you might have friends that like you, but don't necessarily look up to you. So you can't use direct with that many people, actually. It's one of the least duplicatable things when you say, hey, I've got something and let me give you all the information out of my own mouth. That's probably the weakest tool, actually, to educate somebody else. And that's our job. Our job is two things: educate people to the point that they understand what it is that you have. That's it. That's it. We educate people so they understand. And if you watched a commercial on television, what do you think the goal of a typical ad on television is? Put it into the chat if you know what the goal is. What are they trying to do when they run that ad? What's the goal? Get attention, get more info, to buy. It's all you know, it's cousins to what I'm talking about. But here's the goal: to get somebody to try something. That's all they want them to do, is try their product. Talk to your doctor and see if this product is right for you. Remember a couple Super Bowls ago, they came up with Puppy Monkey Baby doing a Mountain Dew commercial for just one flavor of Mountain Dew. All they want to do is get people to try that flavor of Mountain Dew. That's it. Try it. If you like it, you buy it again. And if you don't like it, you're not going to buy it again. Like, I'm a Heinz ketchup person. I'm not a Hunt's ketchup person. You can have me try Hunt's all you want. I'm not going to buy Hunt's. I'll try it, but I'm not going to buy it. I'm going back to Heinz. You know, I like Q-tips. I don't like the other swabs. You know, that's because I tried Q-tips and I like those better. So if you have an alternative for somebody, and you do, your whole goal is just get everybody to try it. It shouldn't be that they're on an auto ship for the next 86 months. Try one cup, one glass, something, just to see if you like it. If you like it, fantastic. If you don't, fantastic. There's going to be somebody that does. So marketing is getting somebody to try something. Okay. So direct approach, I got something for you. I want you to try it, or I want you to look at it, whether it's trying it through the product or looking at a video or watching a Zoom, something like that. Indirect approach is what I use for almost everybody. And that was asking for help, asking for wisdom, asking for input, asking for feedback. I would go to Fran. Fran, you've been in business before and I haven't been in business. Would you take a look at this compensation structure and tell me if you think it's fair? I don't know if it's fair. I haven't done anything like this before. Would you look at this product and tell me if you think it's healthy? Would you look at this company and tell me if you think it has legs, it's going to be around for a while? See what I mean? So you can ask for, would you look at this Zoom and tell me if you think I'm making the right decision? So I used an indirect approach a lot, and it took the pressure off. And I played up to their ego. And then the last way to be able to go to people is a super indirect approach. And this is to very successful people. And again, disqualify them. Look, Kurt, I'm not trying to recruit you. Don't worry about it. I just know you're a successful guy. And I know you're very, very busy and you're not a prospect for what I'm doing right now. Because I know you're busy, you got lots of businesses and you're very successful. But because you're so successful, I also know that you know a lot of people. And if you know somebody who's ambitious and money motivated and would like to make a difference in people's lives and is hungry, and you could make an introduction to me, I can make that worth your while. You know people I don't know. And what's Kirk going to say? He's going to say, well, show me what it is before I go introduce you to somebody. And now I'm getting him to look. And here's the exciting thing about getting somebody to look. How many of you consider yourself an entrepreneur? Put a number 1 in the chat. Or you have an entrepreneurial spirit, at least. Lots of ones. All right, great. Here's the trick about getting an entrepreneur to take a look. However you do it, they can't help but connect the dots to any presentation that they see. They cannot help. Their brain is wired to start saying, well, I know this person, that person, I know this person. No, I don't want to do this. Well, wait, maybe if I did, I wonder if I could build something. No, I'm way too busy for that. And that they'll play this game in their head like 15 times before they'll finally admit it to you. But their brain is going to be trying to connect the dots and see if maybe there's something there for them. Anybody who's got even just a little bit of an entrepreneurial spark. Okay, so invite to a tool or an event, invite to try the product, invite to become a little bit more educated about either network marketing or the company or the compensation plan or the people or whatever it happens to be. And the good news is entrepreneurial people by nature will want to know more. So that was a very long answer to one question. I apologize, but I hope that
great answer though.
That little training there was helpful for you.
Oh, it was awesome. And no, I like it because I think that it leads right into my next question I had for you, which is really focusing on, you already hit kind of, if this isn't your first with the apology, stuff like that. Do you see a shift in the conversation? Do you see a shift
when is the shift after you start the conversation?
Yeah. When do you see, because you've got to build the relationship, like you said, that farmer mentality is a lot more, you're not taking the direct approach. If you're taking the indirect approach, when does that switch happen from relationship building to push?
Well, and just so I clarify the hunter farmer thing, sometimes people get over ambitious and they're hunting for a new distributor, and people can feel like they're being hunted. So when they feel that way, their defenses go up, and they're less likely to listen and be open to be educated about anything that you have. For most of you, that's not the case. For most of you, you need to hunt a little bit more. You need to have some more conversations than you've been having. I mean, if there's a secret, a hidden camera following you around for the last 30 days, and they made a documentary about your happy code journey for the last 30 days, what would that story be? I promise you, none of you are talking to too many people. You know what I mean? You can hide really easy inside this business. But so the farmer thing is developing relationships and working to be able to build a network. Let me give you something for your notes. 200 to 400 people a day, Melissa? You're a machine. It's awesome. Put this in your notes. The network is everything. The network is everything. Building your network is everything. It creates all opportunity. It creates all leverage. It creates all sales. It creates everything. So you need to decide. I mean, wealthy people look for and build networks. Everybody else tries to get a job. If you can find a network, you can get a better deal on a car. If you have a network, you can get better service on anything that you want to do. If you have a network, you can find your way to solve any problem. If you have a network, so it's not, I want you to think of your network, okay? This is your whole network. Not all of them are in your business. Most of them aren't, but they're still in your network. Some of you are going to come into your network marketing business and build and grow and strengthen that network, right? That starts to give you some business leverage while you have personal relationship leverage from the rest of your network. So if you get that clear in your head, that the network is really what you're trying to build, because you'll be able to create unlimited sales if you have a big enough network. You agree? Even if a huge network's doing a tiny little bit, each person, you're going to do more for sure. But the transition for me, I'm a big believer. If I had to start over knowing what I know, I would warm up my network, because some of them you haven't talked to in a long time. So I just literally would talk to as many people as I could possibly talk to about whatever. Hello, how's the weather? What are you doing for the holidays? How was your year? How'd you get through the pandemic? What's going on with your kids? Hey, you lost weight. How'd you do it? Whatever it would happen to be. Just talk. Talk. And today we talked through this, right? We talked through text. We talked through Facebook messages. We talked through whatever, direct messages. But it's still conversation. All business is conversation. So I would go crazy. So the first time I talk to somebody in my network about my business, it's not the first conversation I've had with them for the last 2 years. So I would warm my network up. Some of you need to warm your network up. And you could warm it up 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, somewhere in that range. But during that period of time, just warm them up. Have real life conversations. And from those conversations, pay attention to what they're saying. Pay attention to what they tell you is going on in their life. Pay attention to what's happening in their business. Pay attention to what's going on with their kids. Pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. And then 2-3 weeks later, shoot them back a message. Say, hey, it was really great connecting with you, Brian, but I haven't been able to get you off my mind. I have an intuition, and I could be completely off, but I feel like there might be a fit here. And then you can go into an invitation. But if you try and do it in that first conversation, you haven't talked to Brian and you've been Facebook friends for 9 years, but you haven't really talked. I try and text message, get on the phone, get caught up, no agenda, whatever. 2, 3, 4 weeks later, Suzanne, I've had you in my head. I heard what you were talking about with your kids. And, when you said you wanted to be able to do this thing for your kids and you couldn't quite figure out how to do it, were you serious? Or were you just kidding around? Because if you're serious, I think I got a way that would work. And it might sound crazy. And, hey, if I'm off on my read, just tell me I'm off. But, look, if I sent you this link, and just don't judge me, I just want you to look at it. And if there's a fit, then fantastic. And if I was crazy, whatever. But I think if you looked at it, it might be something interesting for you. So that's basically warm them up, and then say, hey, Julie, You know, when you say you're trying to move, but all this mortgage stuff was crazy and the mortgage rates went way up and it changed, what you could do or what you thought you could do. I might have a way for you to get into that new house faster than maybe even you thought. I have an intuition that you have a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit. Am I right? I think you do. And if you do, and if you'd be open to maybe taking a look at something, I think it might be a fit. And even more fun than that, after reconnecting, is Julie, it's something we could do together.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of fun. 1 + 1 adds up to 5. See what I mean? So warm them. And then I had a thought, I had an intuition, I had this idea, call it crazy. I always disqualify it, call me crazy. I just got this idea. I can't get it out of my head. I just think, Aaron, I think this could really, really work. And if you looked at it and told me, you let me know if it would work or not. So it's, again, be as normal as you can be in your conversation. But that feels good, when somebody does this. One quick tip, though, I would say, is on warming them up. Part of warming them up should be a phone or video conversation or in-person conversation. If it's only text message or only direct message, it's not a significant warm up. You can warm them up, and then just say, hey, you free right now? Let me give you a chat. I want to hear your voice. And then talk, no agenda. All right, see ya. That now they're warmed up. Now you can go back with a text message or direct message and say, hey, I've got this thing.
Let me ask you this. Something crazy happening. One of your grandkids is breaking something in the background. Let me ask you this. So one of the things my father does that I think is so cool is he brings some of, like, I don't know what you call it now, but the millionaire council of all your 6 and 7 figure earners that you bring together in your top leadership group. But one of the coolest things about this group is number one, it's very restricted, as you have to be able to show kind of your earnings to be a part of the group, and it's a high ticket group. The other cool thing is they consistently share. It's almost like they've all signed NDAs with one another, but they haven't. It's like they respect one another so much that they just share ideas across the table. And I wanted to ask you, because you're facilitating all these groups. Full transparency, here at HCO, we are in the process of redoing a lot of our onboarding videos, a lot of our kind of hot, our commercial type videos, if you will. And we're making them incredible right now. We're in the process of doing that. But what do you see as far as third-party validation is still being a solid resource to lean on? I mean, when I remember when I got involved, if it hadn't been for my ability to lean on you with Dan Elling and his dad and all the others that I said, hey, just get on the phone with my dad. He'll tell you everything. I don't know what we're doing here. But I think that even if I did know what was going on, which a lot of the times I did, I could have shared information, but I think the pass off adds a lot of validity and edification to the opportunity. So what is the take you're seeing right now? Is it more of a share a video, share a sample, or are you seeing that third-party validation still has a strong place in that introductory space?
You talk about onboarding, a typical onboarding process?
No, just like an introduction, like say, like, hey, if you see the video and you want to get on a third-party call afterwards, just ask some questions.
The recruiting process you're talking about?
Yeah, in the recruiting process. Yeah, using third-party validation.
It's a combination of video for more information, recorded Zooms, or pieces of Zooms, which is, again, video. Websites for some things. Product can be part of the education process so people feel comfortable. The one that's just really hard to beat is using a friend or your upline. Not everybody has an upline that's worth anything. And just so you know, most of the successful people in network marketing didn't have an upline to speak of or to brag about. So if some of you are thinking that, they just find a friend. They find somebody inside their business that they can use as a third-party source to be able to help to educate somebody that's not them. So if you have an upline that you're comfortable doing that with, use them and have them share the information. If you don't, find a friend. You do it for their prospects and they'll do it for your prospects. Somebody that can be the fact giver when it comes to the information. But again, in the prospecting piece, it's all about education. What we really are is we're educators, and our first goal is to get people to try something. Get them to try the product, get them to take a look, get that introduction going. Now, in the actual onboarding piece, let me just talk about that real quick. 3 pieces of getting a person up and going in order to be able to create more duplication in your business. 3 steps. Okay. Step 1 is you have to get them as at least a short-term, highly disciplined user of the product. Highly disciplined user of the product. You need to make this just non-negotiable. That they use everything as prescribed, as recommended, and document the results. Let them know that they're their own first test case. And this story that they're going to create by using the product exactly the way they're supposed to is going to give them belief, number 1, but it's going to give them a story to go tell people, number 2. So a disciplined user of the product is your goal for step 1. Step 2 is to get them onboarded. And onboarded is just, they know where to get questions answered. They know where to go. They know how to order. They know where the events are. They know when the calls are. They're kind of connected. And then step 3 is a roadmap to core rank. I don't know what your core rank is inside of your organization, but you need to have bronze. All right.
Yep.
You need to have a very specific little roadmap that you can guide them to, and you'll help them in the process to be able to help them get to bronze. So disciplined user of the product, get them connected so they know how to be self-sufficient if they need to be, and create the roadmap and just kind of babysit them. Treat them like a prematurely born baby. They need really a lot of extra love and care. You need to keep them in the incubator. They're not ready to walk by themselves, no matter how they act. They need a lot of love and attention in order to be able to get to core. But once you have somebody to core, then you just repeat the process because they now have some people, and help them go through those 3 steps as well.
Yep. I love it. The other thing that I have been focusing on a lot is, in the pursuit, I think that, everyone that's here, what I believe is everyone that's here wants to be an expert here, right? They want to be a professional. Even if they're doing this part-time, even if they're just doing this a couple hours a week in the cracks of their life, I still believe that everyone here doesn't want to be doing this on either, again, I go back to your book, but either the poser, the amateur, the professional level. I think everyone wants to be on that professional level. But as you talk about, I think a lot of people, you said 80% find themselves in the beginning of their journey in that poser space. And so I don't know, what do you see as is it really just repetition that is going to take you, or is it's we talked when I was a kid, you would always talk so much about plan, do, review, that there was so much of life that is whether it's weekly, monthly, seasonally, that you're really taking a concerted effort to not just repeat the cycle for cycle's purpose, but to always be looking back on what you did to course correct
Yeah.
little pieces that might need changing.
Yeah. I mean, look, I doubt if everybody on this Zoom wants to become a professional. You'd all like to have some more money. You'd like to have a bigger network. You'd like to rank advance, maybe. You'd like to have a little bit more month at the end of your money. But not everybody wants to be a professional, and that's okay. I mean, we have a lot of amateurs, not a terrible thing. I was just on the soccer field, and I'm not a soccer player, with a bunch of former like World Cup players just like an hour ago. Okay. They're professionals. I'm an amateur, and that's okay. I do not belong on that field. I don't have the skills necessary, whatever, in order to be able to go there and do what they do. And that's fine. Right. But the thing that excited me at about age 25 was I realized that while I wasn't going to be a World Cup soccer player, and I wasn't going to be an NFL linebacker, and I wasn't going to be an astronaut, and I wasn't going to be a movie star, I could go to the top here, and nobody could stop me. I could go to the top, starting at whatever age, with whatever experience. I could go to the top if I just learned these skills. And these are not difficult skills to learn. If I learn these skills, I'm like, I can go. I could do this. Even if I failed at everything else, and I had at that up to that point in my life, I had 18 jobs before I got involved in network marketing. I was nobody's prize. I was nobody's star prospect. Okay. But I just went, if I just learn this and I let go of trying to get lucky and be in the right place at the right time and positioning and all that stuff, I can go to the top. And there's not a thing that'll get in my way. And I might be slower, and I'm a slower learner than most. I really struggle in formal education. But I will tell you, I might be slow to learn it, but once I have it, it's in a steel vault. I got it. And I made the decision to be a professional here. And by making that decision, the fear that I had in my body left my body. I had a plan, and I just started to lean into it. And by leaning into it, I realized that I didn't have to live in my own limiting beliefs and my own lack of self-worth and my own story that I've been telling myself and the blame game that I've been making, all the different things that I've been saying was the reason for my lack of success. I could just block all that out and do it.
Well, let's talk about that for a second, though. I want to talk about that for a second, because that's important. I think that shift right there is kind of in the wrapping up of this call as we kind of are coming to a close here. I want you to talk about that, because you went from, I mean, I don't know all the exact numbers, but you weren't making six figures at 24, 25. I think you probably made your first six figures right around there, right? And then by 27, 28, you were making $1 million. And so, what I want to talk about here is what I kind of want you to give a detailed review of what that year looked like in your life and what it looked like, what No Excuses look like, because I believe that there, like you said, maybe not everyone wants to be a professional on this call, but I believe that roadmap is going to call some people on this call to go, you know what, that's what I want my 2023 to look like. I believe that I can do that throughout the next 12 months of my life, and I can start putting it in place right now. So I would love it if you would talk through just a little bit of what that looked like for you, and what, you made the decision, and then, because it was insanity for a minute.
Yeah. Well, my first 3.5 years, I got to six figures, but there's a little bit of a confession in those six figures, because the company that I was with had a high ticket, it was a $5,000 package to join, and you could make from $1,200 to $2,400 for every $5,000 package, depending on your level. So if I just involved a handful of people in a month, then I could make some decent money, 4 or 5 grand. See what I mean? So in other words, what I'm telling you is in that structure, I had virtually zero residual income. It was all hustle money, signups, hustle, 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 hustle. I worked really hard, but I hadn't figured out duplication at all. I was still focused on timing and positioning and luck. And I was very quick to blame the company or blame my upline or blame the weather or blame something for my lack of success. But once I made the decision to become a professional, I made the decision, number one, and I started to work on the skills. And if I can give you any advice, just listen. All of you will survive without your happy co-income for the next 12 months. You'd survive. Probably. I'm guessing. Right? You'd figure out a way to survive. So why not take the next 12 months and just focus on being the best you can be at finding prospects, being the best you can be on social media, being the best you can be at inviting and presenting and following up, closing, getting people to attend events, just being the best you can be, right? And divorce your mind from the outcome and just focus on becoming great. So I focused on becoming great, one. And two, a lot of people don't want me to say what I'm about to say. I worked harder than anybody I ever knew in my life. Really, and no kidding. I probably worked, from making the decision to getting to 7 figures, it took a couple years, 2 years, but I worked really hard. So I was working hard on my business and I was working hard in my business. But it's probably 80 hours a week, no joke. But it changed my whole life. By age 29, I was making $1 million a year and kept doing so.
What I want to talk about that's important there, that from just real quick is not only did he make $1 million there at 29, but then multiple opportunities. Never did he ever make less than what he had made at the previous place. So every single opportunity that he found himself involved in for the rest of his career has surpassed the previous opportunity. And I think that that's really important and really cool because
the skills are the thing. The skills. Your skills in your network, your skills in your relationships. Be a good person. Over time, people are going to trust you. If you're highly skilled, people are going to follow you. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? People are going to take a look if you have skills. I learned the skill of overcoming objections. I went from being terrified. If somebody had an objection, here's what happened. I went through 3 phases when it came to objections, because what are the objections that you hear? You get probably a half a dozen of them all the time. Don't have the time, don't have the money, don't like network marketing, don't want to bother my friends, yada, yada, yada. Right? My phase 1 of objections was I would agree with them and run away. I'd go to Lane. He says, no, that's not my thing. Well, if it's not your thing, I guess it's not going to work. Bye. I go to Robert and, say, so no, I don't have the money. Well, if you don't have the money, you can't build a business. Bye. So I would I'm not a people person. Okay, bye. I'm not a salesperson. Okay, bye. I let them sell me that story. So that was my first phase. Second phase is I argued with everybody. I just, told them that they were wrong and I was right. And that didn't work, obviously. And then I finally learned, and it's a skill, how to listen, how to relate to a person, how to tell a story that builds a bridge, and then lead them to the next piece of information that might educate them. I learned how to be a normal person having a conversation, but a skillful conversation. So that's one aspect, but it was a combination of skill, leaning into skills heavy, and working my ass off. Let me just say one thing. Yeah. One thing before we go to the next thing. You want to know what's required, really? for high level success in this profession, I'll tell you what's required. And I've worked with and coached, I don't know, 1,000 $1 million a year earners. I work with and coach several $1 million a month earners. Had lunch today with a $2 million a month person, coaching him. Here's what's required: obsession. I haven't seen anybody become world-class at anything without being obsessed. At anything, any skill, any sport, any endeavor, any hobby, anything. Nobody's great without being obsessed. And I became obsessed, and then I became obsessed first with my own success and skills, and then I became obsessed with how many people could I teach them to? How many other people could I help? That's why I do what I do today. That's why Marina and I are here in the Maldives. It's about contribution, being obsessed about helping and contributing to other people. That makes us happy.
I love that. And there's a couple things I want to say that's I'm glad that you said that. One thing I want to touch on quick is in that journey of the 80-hour weeks, obviously that was an insane blitz. I slightly remember it from my childhood, remembering the crazy hours and the craziness of you running. You talk, I mean, I know throughout my life, throughout your life, in my childhood, you've had arguably some of the best mentors on in the personal development space on planet Earth. You've been very, very blessed in that vein. But a lot of them, I love. I've talked to these guys a million times about this, about the story that your five were not people that you knew for a very long time. That Jim Rohn and Les Brown were people that you didn't know for years, but you associated with them on a daily basis. Could you speak to like a hard time in that journey of running 80 hours a week when something just exploded, when something didn't go the right way? What allowed you to rebound? What allowed you to keep going?
It almost never went well. It almost never went smooth. I almost never had the wind at my back.
Yeah.
I felt like I never caught a break, ever.
So was it just doing it like in spite of? Was it just like, I'm just...
Here's the thing. It's like, I would look at other people and had these huge businesses, and, mine was just, had these magical people that showed up in their organizations, and I never did. And I was just like, come on. When am I going to catch a break? But I was learning and I was growing as I went. And my mentors, most of them didn't know they were my mentors, because I hadn't earned my way into their circle. I hadn't earned my way to have the conversations with them. So I had to, have them as mentors without them knowing it. So, through their audio programs or their events or their courses and things like that, I just soaked it all up. But I made an intention to become friends with Jim Rohn. I made an intention to become friends with Tony Robbins. I made an intention. Marina and I were just at Necker Island. If you don't know that, it's in British Virgin Islands. We were there last week with Sir Richard Branson at his home, having breakfast, lunch, and dinner with one of the most iconic entrepreneurs in the world. We made an intention to build that relationship.
Wouldn't you agree though that the intention wasn't on the getting to the destination? It was about becoming the person necessary to be in that space. It was about the development. It wasn't about getting lucky and getting there. It was about who you needed to become to be in that circle.
Yep. Finding a way and listen, was I best buddies with Jim Rohn? No, but he knew my name. I was the kid, and he was the master. And anytime I can get around him, I would soak it up. And I'm sure I was annoying to him most of the time. But I super valued that. And here's what I'm saying. Proximity matters. Getting close to powerful people matters. But until you've earned your way there, a virtual mentor is way more valuable than an actual mentor, face-to-face mentor. Way more valuable. 1,000 times more valuable. Jim Rohn's audio programs were 1,000 times more valuable than his friendship in the development of my career. See what I mean?
It's huge. Yep.
And Jim Rohn could sit down on the couch if he loved me and give me his whole seminar for 3-4 hours, but I couldn't ask him to come back and do it tomorrow. The same one, but I could listen to the audio program, or I can watch a video over and over and over and over 1,000 times, because I'm a slow learner. You know, he'd grow way impatient with me. So you can listen, you can build relationships, you can get close to anyone in the world if you make an intention to do so by bringing value and finding a way to do it. But obsession, again, once you become obsessed with this and you know that other people can help you grow faster than you would have grown without those people, then you'll attract those people in your life. You know, you'll read the right books, you'll listen to the right podcasts, you'll engage in the right behavior. You know, the corporate people will know your name, that kind of stuff.
100%. My father,
My son.
very grateful for you. I love you very much.
I'm grateful for you.
And in closing, I want to just kind of have you give a call to action. I mean, we're 7 weeks out of the new year here. And
Yeah.
I firmly preach on regularly and consistently that it is, you know, what you do in these weeks that dictates a lot of what your next year is going to look like. That you come into 2023 at a sludge pace and you're just looking to see what happens. And we got a big kickoff event January 7th, where there's going to be a lot of big things announced and a lot of really cool things that are going to be coming. And, you know, you could wait until January 7th to the event and you could wait to hear what's coming, you know, or
that's what most amateurs do. They wait. They just say, you know, I'm going to rip a new page in 2023. Wait, watch my smoke. It's going to be amazing. And they start the year with no momentum. This is a great season of the year to get people to look, to get them to try. They're looking at their lives right now. People in the world, and I'm at 1% battery on my computer. So if it dies, sorry. And I love you all. So people right now are evaluating their place in the work world like no other time in human history. They don't know where they fit. They don't know what they like. They don't know what they're doing. So right now, if you say, you know, listen, I've got a way for you to, I might have a different alternative than getting back in the car and going back to that office or working remote that's not fulfilling you or whatever. At this time of year, it's a reflective time of year. Maybe it's time to take a look and see if there might be something for the new year for you to check out. These next 7 weeks are about market share. Get as much market share as you can. While other people slow down, if you speed up, you get a bigger piece of the company. This is the time for you to go grab it. So here's what I know. Every one of you can do it. Not every one of you will, but every single one of you can. No matter what you've done in the past, no matter what success or failure you've had so far, no matter how much you beat yourself up over your lack of performance, I'm just going to tell you, it's there. You know, you know what to do. You just need to do what you know. And when that hunger gets to the right point, that you're going to become an expert and you're going to do the thing, and really make a decision. Really make a decision, because the decision's everything. Most of you think you made a decision, you haven't really. Once you make a decision, this gets pretty easy. So make a decision, number one. Most of the learning comes from doing, not from study.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. I was just about to start taking over his words. I was going to start talking for him. I was like, it's coming. It's coming, Mr. 1%. You guys, everything that he's saying is your one decision away. And all I want to add on to that is one of the things that the universe usually does when you make that decision is the universe sends you a test to make sure that you're for real. What I've seen time and time again is you make this big decision. You make a declaration today. You're like, this is it. I'm done. I'm done being comfortable. I'm done with the excuses. I'm done with all this stuff. I'm done. And then the universe throws you, all right, well, here's a crazy out of nowhere thing that you're like, well, I got to go handle that. And it's like, what the universe is going to ask you consistently is, are you sure that you're ready to step into this journey? And if you say yes, the universe will open the doors for you. But a lot of the time, the universe is testing you via excuse, via, random things to pop up and see if you're really committed this time, or if it's just like every other time before, where you're going to get thrown off by the next friend that invites you to come hang out, or you're going to get thrown off by the next Netflix show, or you're going to get thrown off by whatever it might be. If enough is enough, if you guys are ready to run, know that I'm ready to run with you. I appreciate you for being here. I know my father does as well. He says, one decision, tune, learn from doing. 3, do it before you're ready. Mad love to everyone. God bless each and every one of you. Have an abundantly beautiful rest of your weekend. Look forward to seeing you on Mindset Monday in just a couple days. Until then,